Going live. Nice. There we go. I'm back again. On my own this time. How's everybody doing? Obviously, gonna give people some time to get in here. Because obviously, I just started. My second Forge this week. Which means now I'm all caught up with Forge episodes. Which is nice. Because time tisms happened and I couldn't do all the episodes I wanted. So I had to do two this week. This week. And yeah, did the wrestler last time. That was fun. I could flex my wrestling knowledge a little bit. That doesn't happen very often. And yeah, today I'm finally going to talk about everything, everywhere, all at once. Very dense movie. It took me a pretty long time to write everything down. And yeah. Watched it a second time today. Did a ye old rewatch. Just to get a better feeling of pacing and whatnot. And yeah. That's where it's at right now. I mean, what's been happening? I mean, yesterday I been having a grand old time with Ocarina of Time. That shit's been fun to replay, for sure. I'm already at the last temple right before you go to Ganon's castle. So I think I'm gonna finish that up pretty soon, and then just go ahead and play Majora's Mask for the first time. So that's what's happening on the Twitch, over yonder on the Twitch. It's a pretty good time. And yeah, the Majora's Mask playthrough would be the first playthrough I would do on that game. I said it on the Twitch before. I rented it from the video store back in the day when that was a thing. And my little child brain did not know what was going on. I did not know what to do in that game. So, yeah. Maybe that's better now. One would hope. Just sipping some coffee, some late coffee. And yeah, I mean, what's been happening? Oh yeah, Diablo Immortal came out. Apparently that has some very good pay-to-win aspects. And I decided, probably after this stream goes off the air, if you will, I'm gonna go live over on my archive channel on the YouTube and play some Diablo Immortal, make myself some drankelages, and see what's going on with that game. Because there's a desktop version, which I wasn't aware was a thing that they do. But it is a thing. It's on the Battle.net app, and I don't know. I thought it could be fun just having some dranks, checking that shit out. See how bad it is. This is gonna check out how long it takes before the game asks me to pay some money. I think I already saw that there's like a what's its face? Like a super pack or like a beginner's pack, like all the mobile games have. All those mobile games have. So yeah, that just should be like a fun little fuck around stream. Because tomorrow is a holiday in German land. So I have time. And I'm gonna spend my night doing that, so that should hopefully be fun. Yeah, I don't know, what's I guess all the Quantum TV stuff is still going on. That was interesting to see, that apparently he's completely innocent by YouTube standards. Which seems like horse shit, to be honest. I saw some Ordinary Gamers video on that topic as well. And apparently there's like a weird thing where a URL in the Wayback Machine is shown as banned, but it's not banned anymore. But for some reason, Quantum TV never said that he got his channel back, and he seems to be mass deleting stuff here and there and over everywhere. So yeah, interesting thing. Gonna keep an eye out for that one, because I wonder what's going on with that shit. But even if that didn't happen, I think he still is doing enough tismy stuff, I think, especially with all the copyright claims that have been going on, to basically say, yeah, that's probably a ban, my dude. But yeah, we shall see. I'm just observing from the sidelines, pretty much. Was oh, what Meeply is playing? Wow. Meeply bamboozled me. Told me yesterday he's on a drinker stream and can't join for this one. Gotta give him mad shit for that, just because it's fun. That's just rude. That's just really rude. Nah, it's probably the drinker stream is like probably later on, as always. I think they do their streams like at 10 p.m. or some shit like that. But yeah. That's what's been going on. So yeah, Sunday night stream. Probably gonna be a comfy one, I assume. Is my chat even working? I think my pop-up chat differs from the one online. Oh, there you go. I think it just took some time to do the thing. Metalcommander. I'll try. So model streaming at the same time as you wait for the to start in like 3 hours. Well, as I said, probably gonna be later. Could have told him he joined me then. What a dingus. Guys isn't on Twitch. No, the forges are always here. That's the dedicated channel for it. So that's all gonna be here. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah, what's that? I mean, I've just did a thing. I just did a forge like a couple of days ago, so not a lot happened. I had some friendos over Friday to Saturday in that night, and we had some barbecue and drinks, so that was fun. Other than that, I've just been streaming, preparing this forge. All that good stuff. That's basically it. There's nothing else really to say, I think. And there's a lot to go through in this movie, so I think I'm just gonna jump right in it. So overall, right straight from the get-go, it was a really, really good movie. So yeah, the other ones weren't kidding that they really liked it, and I really liked it too. It's darn amazeballs. Hey Parkus, what's up? This was a very dense movie to break down. Took a lot of stuff, still a lot of stuff that is going on in here, and yeah, I've as I said, I watched it twice the last 2 days. So I watched it today, and then I watched it once more yesterday, when I took all these notes. So I guess I could just put some schleems up here. My water bottle is in the way. Hang on, need to sort my tisms out here. Oh boy. No volume. There we go. All right, I wanted to set up one of those loopy boys. So starting here. Then I think I'm just gonna do like the first 10 minutes. Yeah, because this is like the intro. Yeah. There we go. Now we get some moving stuff. Wombus. Bam. Is it moving? Is it happening? It is happening. Very good. So yeah. Very, very good movie. I don't even think I found like a lot. I didn't find like anything that breaks shit, I think, which was really surprising because we are dealing with multiverse stuff here, and that's always hard to handle, if you will. But they set their rules pretty good, pretty well. You don't get confused as to what is happening most of the time, I think. But yeah, we'll get there when we get there because we first have to establish our characters, and our starting scene is goes into a mirror, and yeah, so maybe we see that because we see like them doing some karaoke, and then we go into the mirror. So I don't know if if this like in hindsight is like, oh, we're seeing this universe right now, but we're going into Evelyn's universe, or like our universe we're having in this movie. Maybe this is where we're going into. It doesn't change the movie one way or another, but I thought it was just interesting to think about. Um, yeah, yeah. Basically, just see Evelyn. So our main protagonist is called Evelyn. This is the Chinese lady we see talking all the time. Let's have some screenshots I'll show later on, but we'll get there. Is busy with stuff, and she asks her husband multiple questions like, help me. No, wait. The husband asks multiple questions, but she's so busy that she doesn't really want to. It's like, oh, just give me and talk to me. I'm listening. He's like, no, I want to really talk to you. So you can't do this because I know you're not listening when you're busy with this stuff. It's like, yeah, whatever. And we find out that they are planning a party for her dad, and she wants it to be as successful as possible, and tells her husband, which is called Waymond, to stop playing around, and they're busy and they have stuff to do. And she tells him to check noodles in 5 minutes while he is already checking some noodles or the rice, one of the two. No, I think he's checking the rice, and then she tells him, check the noodles in 5 minutes, like help me with those. And she makes sure it's like, because my dad hates overcooked noodles. Yeah, and then we also get to hear from their conversation. It's like that he, talking Waymond, knows better than to ask for help, implying that he's always willing to help, but she tends to refuse. Like, she likes to be in control. She has like her way of doing it, and she doesn't really like the way he's doing stuff. That gets very clear throughout the movie, which is very important to know. She's also worried about the water stain in the ceiling down in the shops. They're doing they have like a laundry shop. It's called the laundry mart, laundry something. I forgot the proper name or how to say it. But it's like a shop with like washing machines people can use, and they can bring laundry in, or they can just use the washing machines for themselves. But yeah, it's, worried about the water stain, the ceiling, that needs to be painted over, and Wayman says, I did that already. And when she hears that he did it, it's like, but which paint did you use? And when he says, just use the white paint, she goes, yeah, but we have two white paints. And later on, we see that he actually did use the wrong one. Because you can see there's something painted over the water stain, but it's still visible, and did like a really bad job. So maybe there's even some laundromat. That's the one. Thank you. So there's maybe some reasoning to her why she's always looking after what he's doing and what he's saying, because he just does the stuff, but not necessarily right all the time. But yeah, Waymond also tells her that the man's choir has a fun surprise for the dad, but she isn't really interested and just wants him to look out for the noodles. And yeah, again, the husband desperately wants to talk, and she's so focused on her work and on the planning, and reassures her that it will be perfect, and her dad will see that she has nurtured a happy family and a successful business, and that he will be proud of her. And she immediately says, that's not what he's gonna see. That's not how he thinks. Because we later see he's like the patriarch of the family. He's like this this old school Chinese father figure, and we all obviously we'll get some more backstory on that later on. But yeah, comes back. Wait, no. Wayman comes back to her and says, kind of braces her, gives her like a little tap on the shoulder, almost like, how about that? But it's what you and I see, right? And then the dad wakes up, and seems like they're all living in this place together. So you can already tell, it's like, oh, she probably had to take him in for some reason, like he's sick or whatever. And she immediately, when she hears him, she just immediately goes up because she's like kind of relaxing at that point. It's like has like a little touch of like, okay, maybe you're right. And then she hears the dad and just like, bam, okay, I need to do stuff right now. Like I don't want to disappoint my dad. And Evelyn immediately tells Wayman to set the table. He's probably hungry. And then the door rings, and she checks the monitor. It's like, oh, it's a customer. I need to go down, set the table for food. He's hungry. So very focused on the dad. Yeah, while she's leaving, Wayman again is like, oh, we're going to talk after the appointment then. But she just leaves. And we see him holding some papers. And he's been holding these papers this whole time while he's walking around. She kind of grabs it at some point when Wayman first starting to talk to her. But she like takes it away from him. It's like, no, I'm gonna ask you later because it's like I need you to listen properly. And we see it's divorce papers. He's interested in the divorce. So yeah, good shit. Like really good shit. This is like the first. This is like the first couple of minutes, like maybe the first 4 minutes, and we already did a fantastic job establishing these two characters. Because we see Evelyn is focused on everything considering her dad and the business, and everything needs to be perfect, and she's very controlling of everything. Like all the way up to a degree where she seems to refuse all the help she gets. Because Waymond is always like, oh, I can help, or at least in the past. He said, oh, I'm gonna help, I'm gonna do this and this and this. But she always is like, oh, but did you do it like this? Did you do it properly? Did you do this? And when she is like, oh, I did this extra, like the surprise from the choir, she's not even interested. It's like, nah, that's not on my list right now, so I'm just gonna ignore this. Look out for the noodles, because my dad hates undercooked noodles. Yeah, but she blatantly ignores that stuff that happens extra, like that's supposed to be helpful. It's like she has like tunnel vision for her plans. She wants to do it her way, and everything the husband does, like everything Wayman does, is like silly and what is he doing? He's just screwing everything up, which is a very, very important through line in the movie. Yeah. Because you see, Wayman, on the other hand, he wants to talk. His always thinks it's important what has to talk about. But she just kind of wants to do stuff on the side because she's focused on this right now, as I already said. And yeah, and as we know, he wants to have a divorce, and which basically shows us that this kind of living together, where she's just doing her thing, and every time he wants to do something, it's just kind of, yeah, whatever, you can do your goofy stuff. I'm gonna do it my way because this is the right way, pretty much. And yeah, he wants to separate because he can't take this anymore. At least that's what I initially thought, because later on, I'm gonna be jumping back and forth in certain cases, just to give some more context. Because at this point, I was thinking, oh, so they have been doing this for a while, so he doesn't really want to take this anymore. But when you look how he behaves, like even before we figure out that it's divorce papers, like he's still like caring about her and trying to lift her up when something happens with her, something comes up with the dad and whatever. So it's like, why do you want a divorce? Like you clearly care still, like very much. So it must be really bad for you doing this, right? So at this point, you kind of like flip flopping in my mind, at least. I was like, okay, why are we doing this divorce thing? Like something, there must be something else going on, and we get some info on that a little bit later on. Uh, but yeah. What else we got here? So noticeable things. We changed between. Oh yeah, this confused me in the beginning. You notice immediately like, oh, we changed between Chinese and English mid sentence throughout the scenes here in the beginning. And my mind is like, because I knew this was like multiverse, so I was like, oh, is this like a multiverse thing? What is going on? Like, are they trying to ease us into like, oh, these are Chinese characters, but they're talking English? But you pretty quickly realize, oh, wait, we're actually like in the US, so what is going on? And then at some point I realize, oh, it's just the language barrier. It's just something completely normal. That's just how this works. So yeah, this is just a language barrier going on. But yeah, in the beginning I was already speculating because I knew this movie is like so crazy and things are going on. It's like, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing here and there? But yeah. So China's character, I guess. Yeah, exactly. Right. So now I'm gonna grab some of these thingies here. Oh wait, I don't need to do this here. I need to do it over OBS. Give me 1 second. Get this away. Where's the VLC background cut? No. Oh shit! I'm missing some kind of source here actually. Dang it. Oh shit, let me see if I can do this pretty quickly. Apparently it was on my old scene, but I'm missing a thing that shows pictures. Give me 1 second. Oh, that's annoying. Add image. Okay. Browse. Then we got here. Oh wait, no, desktop. Mootle's Forge. Everything over all at once. Right. So. Just need to find the right picture. Connection established. Divorce papers. First mirror shot. Right. So. TV in the camera shows a. Which one am I looking? Oh, the apartment one. Right. I just lost track of what I was doing. So this is W white shot apartment. There we go. Oh, that is a little bit too big. Hang on here. I'm gonna put this here somewhere. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so this is like the apartment. This is just interesting to see. So this is their apartment. I just found it interesting to look at because you can see like they have like all this stuff, and it's like it's like kind of just in the way. Like it's not untidy necessarily, but yeah, it's just a really normal thing to see, I think. Because I know people that have houses like this or had flats or just like on ants and stuff would have like all this stuff lying around and like, what do you do with all this stuff? But yeah, that was just interesting to see. Then one thing that I noticed, which I thought is gonna be important, but it wasn't really. So they show these papers very clearly. And I was like, oh shit, there's like colors on them. I wonder if those colors are going to be important. Not the colors are going to be important, but the papers itself, because they become a device to some degree. So yeah, that's just something I took note of, because I thought we're going to see those colors later on, but I didn't notice any of those colors later on, because the divorce papers are not going to be super important for the movie after a certain point. They still come up, but not like as a very big device. But the divorce itself is going to be important to talk about. But yeah. Oh, I took too long on that coffee. That was cold. Ugh. Gross. Alrighty. So, what's next? Right, so, I need to get rid of this bad boy, and then we do Floomp. There we go. So yeah, now next she goes downstairs, and we see Evelyn's daughter arriving, who is dating another girl called Becky, and she's trying to talk to her mother, and she basically just wants to know if she can come to the grandfather's party tonight or not. But all she gets from Evelyn is that she should be happy that she's even cool with that she's dating a girl, and she's just talking about all these things, but is never really answering Becky. But yeah. But before that, we see Joy, which is Evelyn, which is the daughter's name, just staring into the washer, like she's not really there, like she's not all there. She's like staring into it, which in hindsight, kind of looks like the bagel, if you know what I mean. The bagel with everything on it. That makes sense if you've seen the movie. If not, it will make sense very soon. But it's in general probably the indication of the things feeling quote unquote wrong, and things are not quite like they used to be, which they say later on, which is the cause of the Alpha verse Joy getting shattered to all these universes. And we have the same thing happening with Evelyn as well, when she looks like into a TV screen and is just kind of in trance. But yeah, she's just going through there. No, wait, she goes down, gets them up. She's just like, oh, Miss Wang, blah blah blah. And then they go upstairs, and then we see the dad, like Wayman's, like super welcoming and chill, telling Becky to call him Wayman, not Mr. Wang. Like, this fucker is so fucking nice. I feel so bad for him throughout the movie when he's not possessed by Alpha Wayman. He's just like, I don't know what's going on, but I just want to be nice. But yeah, Becky is Becky, so Joy's girlfriend, supposed to chill here with the granddad while they go to the IRS to be audited for their tech stuff. But Evelyn is just like not really chill with it. It's like, it's like, does your dad want to be with a stranger? It's like that. She's not really super into. It's like, we can just you can just stay here, Joy, because she was supposed to go with them to translate just in case they need it. And everyone's like, we don't need you to be here to translate because we have Google and English is good enough, it's fine. But in the end, they decide to take the dad with them to the IRS. This whole thinking procedure they have makes sense. Like, this is like shit I've seen happening in real life, where something was agreed upon, probably hesitantly in the beginning, and then someone just goes like, we can just do it like this, and then they do it like completely different way. Like, this is nothing out of the ordinary. This makes sense. And the reason I'm bringing this even up is we need the granddad or the dad of Evelyn to be around in the IRS building for later in the story. So now we created a reason for him to be there that makes sense. We don't made up some stupid bullshit that makes no sense. So we established that she isn't really chill with Becky being there. She just wants then she's like, "Oh, you can just stay here. I'll do it myself." And then they just take him with them, just doing everything herself again, which makes sense character-wise because she's very controlling and just wants to have everything be perfect. And I think she tells her later on just to stay here and just decorate. But yeah, yeah. All while this is happening, we see. Oh right, and then later they go back down. Joy's following her, and they just kind of walk through the washing shop. She removes some googly eyes from the washing machine because for some reason Wayman put googly eyes everywhere. Maybe in an attempt to make things look nicer. So there's like a washing machine out of order. There's like stupid googly eyes. Put them away. Because she has like a customer there and she is like, "Oh, what do you want?" Oh wait, no. On the way, she's like, sees someone put shoes in the washer, which is not allowed. She takes them out, throws them in the guy's basket, telling him it's not allowed, and if it's broken, you pay. While all this is happening, she's kind of talking to the daughter about Becky, and it's like, "Oh, it should be cool that I even allow you to be with girls, and this and that." And she's like all over the place. And while Joy is trying to talk to her, she's like talking about something completely different. But yeah, they go to the counter where a lady with a dog in a stroller and a headset is talking to someone. It's like, "Oh, how can I help you?" It's like, "Oh, I want some laundry bag." And the lady on the phone is talking to her husband or whatever. It doesn't really matter. She's like it's this annoying telephone person, basically. It's like, "Oh yeah, give me your ticket. I'm gonna grab your laundry." And then she goes back. So I can't find it. Then there's some trucker-looking guy who talks to Evelyn, and it's like, "Oh, so the change machine ate my 20 again. Needs some help." And then she grabs like a baseball bat and bashes some ventilation and yells up to their apartment, "The customer needs help," and just hear him yelling back down, "Okay, I'm coming." He's like helpful as shit again. And this trucker is like kind of awkward because she's like, "Oh, you used the same perfume as my wife did back in the day," and she's like apparently dead because like, "Oh, God have her, rest in peace," or whatever. And she's like kind of a creep about it. But yeah, she can't find the laundry from the lady. And when Wayman comes down, it's like, "Oh, where's the 42? I can't find it." It's like, "Oh yeah, it got crowded here. There was no space. I put them up there, into our apartment. Just grab it from there. I just had to put them there because they look more happy there," or some weird shit he says. Yeah, she moves upstairs to get those things. She finds it, and he put like googly eyes on these things as well. And she's like ripping it out. It's like, "No more googly eyes." She's like really annoyed with everything he does, and she's like, again, just all over the place. She's like doing this and this and this and this, and while people are trying to help her, she's like, "No, no, no, no." And when the daughter wants to talk to her about something important, or basically just wants to know if her girlfriend is allowed to come to the grandpa's party or not. And she never really gives an answer because when she blatantly asks her, it's like, "Oh, can she come or not? Like, we've been together for like 3 years." But it's like this whole thing about the grandpa wouldn't probably understand, and then she just goes away to like another topic, and it's like, "Oh, this Miss Dradery, the IRS lady, she's always targeting the Chinese people in the community, and she's like a horrible person, and she doesn't like the IRS office lady." And it never really answers Joy like at all. But yeah. But all these things are like pretty important later on. They come back because she's like annoyed at Waymond being goofy and lighthearted. And all the things he does, she finds like silly and stuff. And but yeah, as we later on see, it's gonna be very important in some kind of resolution. and her understanding that her way is not the only way, pretty much. Yeah, lots of stuff happening. This is like the first 10 minutes of the movie, and we just do all this work to just establish our characters, and it's great stuff. It's great stuff. Let me see. Do I have a thingy for that? So while they talk to each other, Joy and Evelyn, we see their television flicker later on. Then we see a little message. As you can see there on the left, it says connection established. And it's like, oh, what's going on? And then we see Waymond just like parkouring all over the place into the office, grabbing something. And then just going back to the trucker guy to help him again. I don't know, this was kind of weird. Because for once they don't notice the flickering. Because the whole screen flickers at some point. But they don't really look at it. And I feel like you would notice that. And also, that never happens again in the movie. That that you see things flickering and see that connection is established. Because in a little bit we see that they have like mobile devices for that, just like smartphones that show these things. And we can already see, like, if you've only shown him doing weird parkour stuff and going back, and them noticing that nothing changed for them, like, I think that would have worked because they explained to us how the rules are and how everything works. So yeah, I don't really know. It's not like super breaking for the movie. Like, it doesn't break anything, but it's just kind of redundant, if you will. So I don't really know why we did that. But yeah, just notice that. And yeah, when they finally look back at the screen, Evelyn just asks herself, how did he even survive before he met me? Like, would he even survive without me? And she's back down again on her way to the counter again. She sees a scene from a movie on her TV, and it's like in trance about it. Oh. And while this is happening, Joy is talking to Becky, frustrated. It's like, I can't make it any clearer. Like, it's only a yes or no question. She either says yes, and Granddad sees we're together and I'm dating a girl and he dies, or she doesn't die. He doesn't know and he still dies. And everyone's like, what are you saying? And it's like, it's a joke. And then even Waymond looks at her. It's like, that's not a very funny joke, Joy. But yeah. And then Trucker gets some of his money back, and we see him like talking a little bit like, that's not all the money I need. I thought you guys were good with maths and stuff. Racist, but okay. And before we can go further, like, Joy's like, Mom, and then just looking over in the corner, and we see that the dad came downstairs with a cane in hand, really old. He was like, where's my food? It was, everyone of the family is gathering around him to greet him. The husband goes upstairs to grab food immediately. Joy is trying to talk to him in Chinese, but she's not very good in Chinese because she grew up here, so it's not her first language. And even the grandpa says, your Chinese is getting worse every time they speak. And this is all him talking in Chinese, by the way. But yeah, so Joy is about to tell him that Becky is her girlfriend, but she doesn't remember the words in Chinese. And she's like, shit, what's the word? I don't remember. And then the mom goes in. It's like, she's a very good friend, she says in Chinese. And Joy's like, Mom, what the fuck? So disappointed and leaves to get to her car to, basically just leave in disappointment because she was about to tell the granddad and she was just like, no, I'm just not gonna allow it. Evelyn follows that one lady on the counter outside because she's gonna, we're doing a New Year's party tonight, just like on a food for customers, I'm gonna get you a ticket, blah 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 blah. And she sees that Evelyn is about to leave, It's like, oh, Evelyn, I have something to say to you. And it feels like she was about to say, to tell her I'm sorry or something. But then she's like, oh, you need to eat healthier because you're getting fat. Like, oof. That was not what we expected. This is cool because this is basically the same, almost the same setup like in the end of the movie where she actually talks to her daughter and basically saves her at the end. So we get this little cycle around, if you will. That was pretty nifty. So yeah, and we see Evelyn getting her dad upstairs. Joyce driving off, almost crying in disappointment, like kind of weeping. And also Joyce not wearing a seatbelt. It's not cool, sis. It's not cool. You're gonna wear your seatbelt or you die. Yeah. And then we see like the ending shot of the intro, if you will. Sears sitting on the table again, the father eating, and we see the husband we see the face of the husband in a little mirror. And she's like, oh, what are you thinking about, Evelyn? And then we see like this other thing. Part 1, everything. And this is our intro. So much stuff happening in this intro. It's insane. It's absolute maddening. But in a good way, because we do all this character stuff. We know about Evelyn. She's this, as I already said, controlling, wants to do things her way, needs to be in control of everything. Husband, Waymond, lighthearted, easygoing, tries to stay positive, but is also frustrated with Evelyn, so he wants the divorce. We get Joy as the character. She's like frustrated with the mom because she just wants to talk to her about the whole girlfriend situation, and with the granddad, because the granddad is like this old school Chinese old patriarch, which we'll get more context for later on. Yeah, and we know that Becky exists. She's not like a big thing in this movie. She doesn't appear a lot throughout the movie, but yeah, she exists. And yeah, the father, like this old patriarch kind of deal. And there you go. We have established all the characters, and we have an understanding of what they do and what is going on. And it does a very good job at it. I was thoroughly impressed with how they did it. That was good stuff. That's the intro. That was very, very good. Like I was hooked, pretty much, because we now know the characters, we know what's going on, and it's fantabulous. It's really good. It's really, really good. Let me just establish the next loop-de-loop here, real quick. There we go. And there we go. Right. So yeah, then they do their little drive over to the IRS building, and they have their little van. And what I noticed throughout the movie, you see like a couple of things she connects to with their multiverse stuff. So, it's, for example, when they drive over to the IRS building, you see one of those pizza sign guys, or like those sign guys who flip around their shields or their signs, and then the singers on the TVs. So, yeah. We see all these things she sees and she would like to do, and this is how all these different branches go out. But yeah, I'll get into that as we get there. So yeah, because they had their audit at the IRS about their business. Then at some point the husband sees an old couple and he's like jealous because they're like kind of chilling out, and there's a little kiss on the cheek, and he's like, oh man, that looks nice. Why is my wife so annoying? But yeah, husband is positive as always. They go in the elevator, and he was like, "Oh, we should do like everything is done, so we should do like a little trip and stuff." But she's just like, "Oh, I have a headache. Just leave me alone." And then we see the husband is kind of like rebooting, and like, "Oh shit, what's going on there?" And we see him do the same thing where he goes like he did in the laundromat, whatever. Uh, and she just says, "Okay, you need to pay attention." And he opens an umbrella to cover up the camera in the elevator. Gets out like two headset-looking devices, puts them in their ears. See some lights going on. Starts scanning her brain on the mobile phone. And he clicks on build map and gives it to her, and we see on the phone it's like, oh, we have an alternate life path scanning going on, and Wayman starts writing down instructions on the divorce papers, I should add, and tells her to breathe in because she will feel a slight pressure in her head. And he also says, yeah, you're in grave danger, just pay attention, do what I say, I'll tell you to. And then we go on from there. And yeah, she feels a slight pressure in her head, and we get a flashback of some sorts, which we get in the idea is that they map out her path, like her current path in this universe that she took. So yeah, at this point I was thinking if she might have been fed info to her brain of her life, but no, that's just she gets like this little flashback from her life. And then this is where we see that her father was very strict, and this old school guy, as I already said, telling her off, no, don't run so fast. And we also see that she abandoned the family for the husband, and the dad even says that she won't be considered family anymore if she leaves for this dumb man. So yeah, the relationship to the dad was the best one, and then we see them getting her and Wayman together. They buy the laundry shop. They get Joy and all that stuff. She works. We also see her working through the pregnancy, just showing how dedicated she is and like having everything good and in her control. And all the way where we finally see her having to take her dad, and she gets like a phone call. Yeah, basically just a super quick flashback of her life overall, and this is where we also see on the phone. If you look very closely, you already see that there's like branches from different places of her life. Like when she leaves home, there's like I think like 2 or 3 other branches that you can see. Let me see. I think I did a screenshot for that one. Hang on. No, but I got the thing where it says that is alternate life path scanning. There you go. That's what it says, and that's when we get this little flashback. But yeah, it's like grave danger. Do what I tell you to do, and then we should be good. Yeah, but right after that flashback, she gets instructions from Wayman, says to follow them when she enters the meeting with the IRS. But don't talk to anyone about this, not even with me, because I won't remember. I'm from this other universe. He's not gonna remember shit. And then he goes back to normal. She's visibly confused. She tells him, "Oh, you can either go right to the janitor's closet or go left to the meeting and do whatever. Just do these instructions I have here." So yeah, she goes to the IRS man and is visibly confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Wayman, he's like, "Oh, this was a fast elevator," because he was just out for a couple of seconds. Yeah, they just have like just talk about the tax stuff and whatnot. And So yeah, you see that he's writing those instructions on the divorce papers. So obviously the alpha Waymond is not aware that these are divorce papers, I think. So this is gonna lead to trouble here in a little bit. So, and in the meeting, we see that the instructions are: switch shoes to the wrong feet, close your eyes, imagine you're in the janitor's closet, and hold that thought and press the green button, which is a green button on the headset she get. And then it says like, P.S. don't forget to breathe. We see that Jamie Lee Curtis, or as I call her throughout this movie, Office Lee Curtis, she asks him, why did you put a karaoke machine on the business expense? And she goes like through different receipts and whatever. And she looks like the most stereotypical older office lady ever. It's actually kind of fun. Hang on, let me see if I can get a good shot here real quick. Come on, show her. Come on. There we go. This is how she looks. Also, there's butt plug awards back in the cellar. She shows them off a little bit. It's like, oh, I have 3 of those. That means I'm really good. Those butt plugs will come in later in a really funny scene that I didn't expect is gonna happen. But yeah. Anyway, obviously Curtis shows her that she put hobby things as a business expense, and he goes through like multiple things that would make her a lot of other professions, like a singer, a chef, or masseuse or whatever. Which also sets up the through line of her never following through of any of her dreams in this universe she's in. Which is the explanation we get why she has like the ability to go to jump to all these different things to get the skill sets, but we'll get there. And also he puts like a circle on the receipt, which kind of looks like a bagel. I'm pretty sure that was intentional. But yeah. Evelyn starts going through the instructions, starts following them, starting with the wrong shoes, while imagining she's been in a janitor's closet, and then pressing a green button, and she gets like sucked into the closet. And here, the other universe version of her husband, or Alpha Waymond, as he tells us later how it's called, because he's from the Alphaverse. So, oh, there's a great evil that's trying to bring unbalance to all the universes, and that he has been searching for someone to keep the balance, and he was brought to this universe specifically to her after he's been searching. Like, he's been to a fuck ton of universe with Evelyn's. And then she gets like sucked back to her universe by Office Lee Curtis telling us like, oh, what's going on? It's like, here's my auditor of the month, butt plugs. She talks about how to you all these receipts might look like just a pile of receipts and random numbers, but I see a story, your ups and downs. Which, considering her mentioning all these professions, is a parallel to how Evelyn ends up getting all the powers she gets by having created so many branches. And we get to know that she puts in more for tax returns than she is allowed to. And the husband says she mistook hobbies for business, but even with all these mistakes, obviously Curtis like, oh, we have to at least find them for gross negligence. And I was like, oh, you always confuse me with your big words. And then we see the other verse, Waymond talking to her through a small mirror. It's like, oh, come back. And yeah, interesting enough, both Office Lee Curtis and the Alpha Waymond say that this conversation, I know you have a lot on your mind, but nothing can possibly be more important than this conversation we're having right now. Which is pretty cool. Because it's a context thing, right? Because for just Evelyn in this universe right now, this tax report she's filing, or this tax audit that's going on, is the most important thing to her right now. Because this is their business. If they get like fucked over by the IRS, or just doing everything wrong, she's gonna lose all her possessions, and it's gonna be very hard to recover from that. But in the context of the greater everything, now, because You need to consider she just knew. She just learns about. Oh yeah, multiverses. That's a thing. We don't even know if she ever thought about multiverses before this. Like she was all business, doing work, 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 work. And I was like, oh, this multiverse is evil. You need to help us. You might be the one to bring balance to the universe. Like, oh no, I don't have time. I'm very busy today. I can't help you. Like her mind is all on this because this is what she knows, obviously. So this is all like this crazy shit going on. She doesn't really understand. Um, but yeah, because Waymond, the Alpha Waymond, also says to her, "Oh, this is like the most important thing because what could be possibly more important than the stake of the whole of the multiverse, if you know what I mean." Um, right. Oh, multiverse. Exactly. So, and she gets like rocked back and forth between the universes and the and yeah, in the janitor closet they're in right now, which is in another universe. So they're just in this random universe right now. And then they get attacked by an evil Office Lee Curtis. She has like a circle on her forehead. It's like, oh, it's an evil one. And the other world husband tells him it's okay. This is just some sort of other universe we use for communications. And he just gets his neck broken. And also she gets beat up, and she's like kind of, because apparently you feel feel what's going on in this world in the other one as well. So she just kind of gets rocked there, and she goes like, help, while they're just talking. And while this is all going on, her husband is doing all the talking to Office Lee Curtis with the tax office. So he's kind of giving them a second chance, but that's not even on her mind. Like she's like, I think he's messing up the tax talk there. That's dumb. But then we go back there, and Office Lee Curtis says to him, "Oh, you can go." And everyone's like, "What?" Yeah, you have like till 6 p.m. tonight to bring this in order. Just make sure you're actually back tonight when the office closes at 6 p.m. I was like, "Oh shit, nice, thank you." And Evelyn is always like, "Oh, actually tomorrow would be better." And the husband's like, No, we'll be back. Thank you very much. And early on, we see that that Waymond made some cookies that he brought for her. For obviously Curtis, like, "Oh, and thank you for the cookies. They're very delicious." Like he's doing all these nice little things to ease the mood for people. It's pretty nice to see. So yeah, they leave, and this is where the shenanigans with the divorce papers happen, because she dropped the divorce papers, and Waymond picks them up, and he's even like, this is why she was acting so weirdly throughout the thing. She found the papers, and now this is what we do. Fuck. Obviously, that's not the reason. She didn't even know those were divorce papers. That's just where the instructions from Alpha Waymond were on. So we get this talk between the two while they go to the elevator again. And yeah, she's like, I'm not ready for this. I'm ready to fight. Because obviously Curtis stands up, and she starts walking menacingly towards them at the elevator. And she's like, oh shit, she's gonna try to kill me. Like she just killed me in the other universe. Oh, fuck. What am I gonna do? And she walks up to them, and then Aaron's like, I'm not ready to fight. It's like, now, wait, you were the one in the elevator? And Waymond is like confused, like, yeah, it was in the elevator. We came up here together. What are you talking about? And it's like this talking back and forth, but Waymond is talking about the divorce papers, and Evelyn is talking about the instructions. So she thinks now I have to fight. And obviously Curtis just comes up, and she just decks her in the face. She's like, fuck, what the hell is going on? Why are you like, because even her dad, he's still there, and he says in Chinese, you never finish what you start. And he's like, no, you're wrong. And just turns around and decks her in the face. And she quickly realizes, she was just bringing back my little wagon that I forgot to take with me with my files in. And like everyone is shocked at what is happening. It's like, oh fuck, he just decked her in the face. What's going on? And this is where she realized those were divorce papers. It's like, oh shit, why do you want divorce? And she just says something like, oh, your brother gets a divorce, now you think it's fine to get a divorce? We gave us the sacred word, whatever. It's like, oh, I don't think it's right, but maybe you'll talk to me finally when I basically threaten you with a divorce. Yeah, and obviously Curtis called security, and they have like this back and forth and doesn't know what's going on. And at some point, Waymond gets gets taken over by Alphaverse Waymond again. It's like, I told you to keep low. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna get you out of this. And yeah, we see 3 or 4 security guards coming up. And yeah, this is where we get our first fight. And the fights are pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And we got some tidbits of how the multiverse stuff is happening and what's going on. So that's all good and fun. Yeah, and the security guy goes like, okay, calm down. I was gonna need you to lie down. You can't just knock down an IRS agent. That's fucked up. You can't do that. And Warren's like, don't worry, I'll handle this. And he just goes to his fanny pack, plugs up, and the guards are obviously on high alert. It's like, oh, what is going to do? Like, one of them even has a gun, and just gets out some chapstick, rolls it up, and takes a bite out of it. And I was like, what the fuck? And he throws it away and just kind of chews on it. And then, oh yeah, before I should probably mention before that he grabs the headset parts from Evelyn, that's the name. And you see that a light goes on. He clicks on it, and you see there's like a little power up almost. And now he goes into fighting stance. He gets like his fanny pack and uses like his nunchucks and does like this kung fu style where he uses the fanny pack to trip them and just kind of slaps them in the face. We're just like, god. Yeah. Yeah, so they do like this whole fighting thing, which is pretty cool, which I, as always, can't show all the way, unfortunately. Not full screen or without the copyrightism in front of it. So we get this one guard that has a gun. He gets disarmed. Unfortunately, he gets very close with the gun, which is, again, it's like my biggest gripe with fighting scenes, because he's just like holding the gun right in front of him. But he tries to go back for the gun when he gets disarmed. It's lying on the floor and he tries to grab it. And Waymond has to get rid of the gun so he doesn't get shot by this guy. So I thought that was really nice to see. He actually takes into consideration that the guard can grab the gun, but also that Waymond has to get rid of the gun so he can do more hand-to-hand combat. So yeah, that was nice to see. I wish there wouldn't have been this dumbass getting close with a handgun shenanigans, but yeah. Yeah, at some point he loads up the fanny pack with some stones he grabs from an aquarium to make it heavier, and he just kind of knocks them across the face with it, and they fly away. So we have some sci-fi elements here. So at this point we just have the two. They have almost magical powers here. I think it kind of works out because we get like silly fight stuff later on as well with like muscly pinkies and stuff. So it checks out, like power level wise. Like you get like really powerful of these things, and we get some really silly sci-fi shenanigans. So yeah, I can accept them getting knocked around with a fanny pack full of stones and they fly away. So yeah, that's good fighting. The fighting scenes are very entertaining. They're really good, and you can see what is happening. You don't get like a million cuts. You see some things connecting. Yeah, It's don't expect like super realistic fights. Like we're not operating on real world on real world rules here. As soon as they're connected to another universe, they get like superhuman powers from time to time. So yeah, should definitely keep that in mind. But I think it gets pretty obvious that that's a thing that we can that's happening. So yeah, very good, very entertaining, very nice. Uh, we already see Evelyn struggling with what is actually going on because she basically has like no explanations going on. So yeah, she's like hiding behind a thing. Alpha Wayman is trying to help her out. And she's like, well, why do you want a divorce? And he goes like, I'm not the Wayman that wants a divorce. I'm the Wayman that wants to save your ass. So you can either lie here and deal with the consequences or stand up and live up to your ultimate potential. And she just says, okay, I'm going to lie here. And just lies down. And he just picks her up and carries her out. It was pretty funny. I like that. Now we go back to the universe that the evil, obviously Curtis was in, that killed the two. They're standing next to bodies, including the ones from Evelyn and Waymond. And we get introduced to the villain, or as they call it, the sovereign leader, which name is Jobu Tupaki, which I had to look up because I tried 5 times to understand the name they were saying, and I couldn't make it out. So yeah, it's Jobu Tupaki. Which is actually a running joke with Evelyn because she always says the name wrong, which is kind of funny. Calls her Booty at some point. That was pretty fun. So yeah, obviously Curtis makes clear that this is nothing personal. It's just statistical inevitability. And apparently she has seen all and knows all, and she knows what makes you tick and what fragile branches of your lives rest upon. And you get like some visual stuff where the colors of her nails change, and her appearance in general changes. Yeah. Also, apparently, the universe they talked in the Genesis Close was the 4,655th universe. I think that's the only time they mention a name for a universe or a number, but I found that to be kind of interesting. So yeah, she taps on the forehead of Evelyn, the Evelyn of that universe, who is still alive. And she goes, you see her go through like different strong emotions, which I think in hindsight, after rewatching, is probably her getting connected to different universes. You see her like having things happening with strong emotions. I think there was like an orgasm, pain, laughter. And then you see like something explode, and the Evelyn in that universe is dead. So she couldn't handle all these emotions from the different universes going into her brain. She goes like, her brain just goes like pop, basically. And when we go back onto Evelyn in that universe, she's now wearing a baby suit, and Jabu Tupaki changed almost to look like an old lady. And yeah, Joe also says it's not her, but she thinks that they're close. So our villain is already in the know that the Alphaverse people are going through multiverses looking for someone to stop her. Also, at this point, I just assumed Jobu is a her because she only changed into a woman. I was wondering if Jobu would change to a dude at some point, but she's limited to the appearance of Joy, as we know here in a second, because yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, and we see her tip her head a little bit, and her like a sound that sounds like changing channels, which is kind of interesting. She goes like through like 1 or 2 universes, which I assume are gonna be universes that branch from this one that has Joy in it. And Hang on. Where is that silly screenshot? No, I got it. Because in one of the universes, that Joy is about to die, actually, which is kind of interesting to see. Yeah, there you go. You see this truck in the back? It's just whoops. It's just crashing right into them. It's just interesting to see. It doesn't mean anything, I think, but that's just what's happening. But yeah, she takes control of the Joy in our Evelyn's universe, and she's chilling with Becky in a bar, and she just leaves. It's like, oh, there we go. Yeah, then we go back to the IRS building, see that Alpha, Waymond, and Evelyn are still trying to hide. And they hide like under a table. And this is where Evelyn realized, oh shit, we need to go back for my dad. I left him there. And it's like, your dad is fine. It's like, are you sure? It's like, yeah. And you just see him like chilling out in a restroom, in like a lunch room, and he just basically stole some pudding or something, and he's just licking the things out. He's like, So that was funny. Right. And this is where we start to get explanations about the multiverses. So he shows her that where they are at the moment, which I have a screenshot for as well. Give me 1 second. Boom, be boom, be boom. Multiverses. Boom, there you go. So, as you can see in the middle, this is the Alphaverse. This is the first universe that has established connection to another universe. And on the bottom right, you see Evelyn. This is where they are right now. So the explanation is basically when she shows her where they are, the multiverse tell her that there are all those branches that are close have like slight variations. It's like what you would expect. Okay, instead of doing this, I did the other thing that created a branch. But the farther away you go from your current destination, from your current situation, the bigger is the difference. So he's from the Alphaverse, which is the first universe to make contact with another multiverse. And in this universe, his Evelyn was a brilliant woman who, in order to prove that there are multiverses, created a method to link your consciousness temporarily to another version of yourself in another universe, accessing all their memories and skills for you to use. And they call it verse jumping, like in universe, but you just say verse jumping. And basically, Evelyn has to learn to do this right now. Otherwise, they're probably just going to die here. And yeah, then he grabs some. This is our first explanation. This is our basic thing we do with the multiverses. If you go from point A to point B, it's a very slight variation. But if you go from point A to B, C, D, E, E, F, G, the differences are going to just get bigger and bigger. And they play around with this a little bit later on, where they have like sausage fingers and stuff, which is pretty funny. So yeah, we get a explanation how the fighting stuff works in a bit as well, but I'll talk about that when we get there. So yeah, now we have like a very simple explanation of the multiverse. This is the rule. This is how it goes. But it's still not a limited amount. It's still unlimited amount of multiverses. Right. Then he grabs an old gum from below the table to basically reconnect with his headset. At this point, I thought you need to chew something in order to do a verse jump, because we saw it twice, and both times he was chewing something. But as we get to know very soon, it's just a very random action. So yeah, then they get out the room to try to blend in, try to escape, and yeah, we also see that he seems to have some kind of connection to the team in the Alphaverse through the headset. And he also mentioned that he's seen Evelyn die 1,000 ways, and every time she has been murdered. It's like, oh man, why was anyone murdering me? So yeah, Evan's like, oh, I don't want to be part of this. Like, take me out of this. I can't do this. And Wayman just says, oh, it's not that simple. Jobo seems to build something that is like a black hole, but it seems to be more than just consume light. It consumes more, and it's like you can't really explain it. He says it's like something seems off. Like your clothes don't quite fit the next day, or your hair doesn't fall as it used to, or even your coffee just tastes wrong. Like institutions are falling apart, and neighbors don't trust each other anymore. And when you lie in bed, you just think to yourself. And then Evelyn says like, "How can we go back?" And the Alphaverse mission is to bring everything back to what it's supposed to be. And whatever whatever Joy or Jobu has built is fucking things up for everyone across the multiverse. Yeah, and when she asks, oh, and you think I'm the one who should stand up against her? He just says, oh, why do you think we risk everything to get you out of here? And they try to escape further. Then they stumble across an office where obviously Curtis is chilling out, but it's the evil version who first jumped, and she just fucking staples a thing on her forehead, which has a black circle, which looks like the all-seeing bagel, if you will. And this is where they kind of fight. But this is also where we find out that they can pass through the powers. We find out that they can pass through the powers by matching certain criteria. I just missed the word there, sorry. In this case, he needs to have 4 paper cuts between his fingers, which is just kind of painful to watch him trying to do. It's just like, it's just so real. It's way too relatable. It's gross. So yeah, the Alphaverse team tell him, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this. In this case, 4 paper cuts between the fingers, so you can get the powers from a gymnast in this regard. In this case, I mean. So he manages to get the paper cuts done almost in time, but before he can press his button, he gets lifted up by obviously Curtis, spun, which he yeets off his earpieces, and he gets lifted up and he goes for a backbreaker, because apparently the evil obviously Curtis has now pro wrestler powers, which is kind of fun to see for me. And in order to break the impact of the backbreaker, he rips off an exit sign from the ceiling and puts it like behind his back, and it also kind of hurts her. But before he can recover, he gets drop kicked out of the room and gets locked out by some drawers pushed in front of the door. So yeah, then Evelyn gets told by Waymond he needs to get headpieces. And she basically tells him, oh, you need to consider a universe where she practices martial arts, which then gives the Alphaverse team the ability to find the closest universe where she does that, where she does kung fu. Wait, did I not write this down? Okay, so for some reason I didn't write this down. So the way it works is, in a certain case, you need to. So they created an algorithm which makes them able to calculate what very unexpected action you have to take in order to create a so-called jump pad. And the more random the action is, I think the farther you can go away from your own timeline with the jumping. So basically they go like, okay, I want to do kung fu. in this regard. I've been slacking. There you go. And then the team in the Alphaverse gets like this list. Okay, you need to do this action. In this case, the best act the action that's gonna do the thing she needs is telling Officer Curtis that she loves her, and she has to mean it. So you basically have to do a very random action to get on the edge from your current universe. So you basically almost create a branch, but not really. So only your mind basically gets flung across the universes. You establish a temporary connection between between yourself and the other universe and yourself, and you get to have their memories and skills to use for yourself. That's basically it. It's a temporary thing. I hope it made sense how I explained it. So yeah, when the action is done properly, you get slingshot to that universe, and you did a verse jump. So that's our rule. You need to do this random action, and then you get to connect with another thing. You do need to have the earpiece, and you have to do the action properly, because she tries to say like, I love you, and it's like rejected, and then she clicks on the button. It goes like, no, don't press it because it's been rejected. And yeah, and then she gets flung into a universe where nothing happened, where she just drove home to finish her taxes. And this exceptional failure leads the alpha women to believe that she isn't actually the one, and she just okay, I'm sorry, I have to leave you now, I have to find the actual one. Okay, bye. And he fucks off. So she gets heated around by obviously Curtis, and she tries to do the action again and again. And at some point it just doesn't work. She hears like the rejected melody or sound in the headset. But at some point she's like, oh right, because in this one universe she talks to her husband where they talk about the divorce, and it's like, oh, I never said we shouldn't have married, but it's like, oh, you never needed to tell me to do that. And yeah, when she goes back in this universe, she drops to her knees and honestly tells obviously Curtis that she loves her, and then she does the verse jump to the kung fu-tism, and she gets all the powers and stuff, and she fights her off a little bit and basically yeets her off the staircase, and she's like kind of stuck in the wall with her head. And we're safe for now. Good job. We did it. Okay. Oh yeah, we also when she establishes her connection, we get like a small little montage how in that universe she didn't get together with Waymond, and she gets mugged by some people and then trained by a kung fu master and ends up getting into movies. We don't get that every time, but we get like this little, just to show us like you get all the memories and skills from her in that time frame. Right. Wayman comes back to grab her. It's like, oh wait, didn't you think I wasn't the one? It's like, oh yeah, but when I saw what you did, I changed my mind because that shit was crazy. I don't know how you did it. Like, you have no training. This is insane. And they go to the to a room with food. I think it's like a meeting room where it's like some coffee lying around. It's like, oh, here, have some food. You need energy. And at some point, he just looks at, oh, cream cheese. In our universe, there's no cows anymore, and we can't have that shit. And he's like just enjoying some cream cheese with some cream cheese bagel, which is kind of fun. Yeah, and she also says that she still has to learn how to close the cracks she opens up with this, but with some training, she should be fine. It's all good. And she needs to pay attention and not open them up too hard, or she will die, or worse. And when she asks, oh, what could be worse than dying? He wants to kind of move on. She's like, no, you come back here. You explain to me what is going on right now. I was like, oh shit, you actually demanding answers to what is happening to you right now. That's good. That's smarter than a lot of other people in movies. I can appreciate that. And he's like, yeah, okay, you're right. I should probably explain to you what's happening. And, I need to change the loop-to-loops. But yeah, so basically, it's like, oh yeah, when we try to do this whole stuff. One second. Sorry. So yeah, they had one young mind as a training. Uh, Not like a lab rat. Like they've been training people to do those verse jumps, and they took like young people to train them for the future. And there was this one young mind that was really good at it, but she has been pushed beyond her limits, and that fractured her mind. And now she has witnessed every world in the universe at the same time, and now she has seen enough, and she doesn't believe in any morality or objective truths anymore. And apparently now she's looking for Evelyn. And yeah, basically they created this whole shit fest that is going on right now because they had one trainee that has been pushed to the limits like crazy. And if you've been following around and see that Joy has been taken over by Jobu, you can already tell who was the one whose mind was broken, because yeah, it was Joy, and the one who trained her was Evelyn herself. So yeah, it all came back to her basically. Right. And then they have like this, yeah, you're the one, you have very big potential because you did this crazy things. And then we see her getting dragged back to the Kung Fu universe, where she's distracted for a good while. Because in there she talks to the, also to a Waymond, but they're not together in this universe. They never got together, and she became this big movie star, and he was apparently poor in America. And he's like, oh yeah, I got lucky, I'm doing way better now. And we see her Kung Fu master. It's like no distractions, but actually she's been handcuffed by the police in our universe because she was distracted for too long. And when they're about to get them out of the building, Jobo Tupaki catches up to them. And yeah, you do know at this point she's the one who's been mind broken. Anyway, so yeah, Jobo Tupaki comes up in an elevator, and well, she looks like this, which I find very amusing. She's just coming out there with like an Elvis outfit and a pig, and it's just funny. I like that. Because she changes her appearance like throughout this next scene quite a bit, because she can just do this all at her own wits, at her own will. But yeah, those office guards, or now this like actual policeman, I think, they try to detain her, and she kills them like in crazy ways. She's making their heads explode, but there's no blood, there's confetti. Turns one of them into dancers and use them as a meat shield. One of them gets grabbed, and she pile drives him into the floor. So if you've ever seen a wrestling pile driver, what you don't want to happen is the head to stick out below your legs. But that's exactly what happened. It just breaks his neck. And the last one gets beat up with 2 dildos. Yeah. Just 2 big old floppy meat penis dildos. That happened. And then she looks at Evelyn, and she gets shot, and it's like, no, don't worry. And she said, it's organic. And she shows like a ketchup bottle. Taste this, like, it's just ketchup. And he, fucks the last one up with more Dildos moves. But yeah. And Evelyn's like, you're the evil one. You're the one who's been doing this. You're this Juju Tubuti. It's like, yeah, I get it. I couldn't memorize the name properly as well. It's fine. And then she realized she's the reason of all this bad stuff. And you're the reason that Joy thinks she's gay. She just stops with a better. It's like, wow, you're still hung up on the fact that I like girls in this universe, huh? Which is fucking bizarre. It's just really funny. It's like, that's your takeaway, you fucking old lady. But yeah, Joe approaches her and makes like cartoon noises. He goes like, oh, I can't put the icon here to make things happening because I can't tell Discord to be in a call on my own. I just close it at some point. I need to figure something out for that. They make like cartoon noises, like the beep beep beep, bow bow bow, like noises like that. And then Evelyn tells her to stop, and I'm really good at fighting. And she's like, I don't believe you. And it's like, okay, wait. And then she tries to reconnect with the Kung Fu world, but somehow she connects with a world where they have hot dogs instead of fingers, and it's just flopping everywhere. It looks really funny, and her hand just goes like kind of numb, which makes her handcuffs fall off. It's just really funny. Let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, she connects with different things. She even like pisses herself. It's like, okay, damn. That sucks. So yeah, there you go. They have like floppy fingers like this in that universe. Yeah, they do get creative with the multiverse stuff. That's for sure. But yeah, and even the Alphaverse people are like, where did she jump? It's like, I don't know, it's off the map. So she's like an insane, crazy jump to wherever the fuck. It's like off the map somewhere. Which makes sense because this change is so bizarre that it must have happened. They show like even like a little clips like, oh, this must have happened during like before Christ times, like 10,000 BC or something. And you see like apes with floppy fingers killing the last guy with like normal hands, and from there on out everything else went ahead as you know it, but they had like floppy fingers with sausages. It's like, okay. And they also make sure to tell you that, oh, every other person, this would have melted their brain pretty much, so that's actually kind of insane. And yeah, Joel then tries to show the truth, and it's shaped like a bagel. And it's like, one day I got bored, and I put everything on a bagel, and I mean everything. All my hopes and dreams, every report card I ever received, every emotion, every breed of dog, poppy seeds, salt, even salt. And when I put everything from everywhere on this thing, it's collapsed on in itself. And when you truly put everything on the bagel, you get truth. And the truth is that nothing matters. And it's like, feels nice, doesn't it? All those bad choices you ever did, not really mattering. It's liberating, huh? It doesn't mean a thing. And then she sings, sucked into a bagel. And Evelyn slowly starts to get her mind shattered. Like you see her eyes go to black. But before she's get fully absorbed by the bagel, Alpha Dad to the rescue. We see her dad in a wheelchair zooming across the fucking room like a fucking mad lad. Because apparently he built like a crazy machine and just yeets into Joyce. Let's see if I can. Oh, there you go. It's really funny because it looks really funny. You're just like, bam! Right into the wall. Right into the wall. And then he just comes back. It's like, Dad? It's like, I'm not your dad. I'm from the other universe. But yeah, so. And then he wakes up Alpha Waymond with this stanky shoe. He's like, nah. So yeah, then he talks about that she can't be the one. Alpha Waymond has defied orders. And they go into a room, close it up a little bit, and Joy knocks on the door, and they think it's Jobu. But apparently she isn't, because their monitor in the Alphaverse like, oh, it's not her. It's like, wait, when she's here, where's she then? She verse jumped into the Alphaverse to where the Alpha team is and attacks them. So yeah, now we know that the thing that's fucking everything up is a big old bagel. A black bagel that sucks up everything or fucks up everything. Because not necessarily sucking the universes up, it's just, yeah, as they say, it's hard to explain. Like something just starts feeling off, but it's getting worse more and more as time goes on. And obviously they have to somehow stop that shiz. Let me see here. Right. So yeah, and Torwatch, you can't be the one. Oh, I said that already. Oops. So yeah, the Alpha Woman explains that how do no, because Evelyn has doubts like how do you think I'm the one? Like I'm not good at anything, and then Alpha Woman explanation is that that's the reason. You're bad at everything. Every Evelyn I've seen so far has been specialized in anything. But you made so many bad life decisions and had never followed through with any of the things you wanted to do. You created so many branches. You have like access to so many things right now. Because you never actually did anything that you had an interest in. Which leads us back to, oh, you have this karaoke machine, you have this massage machine, you have this other thingy going on, as they talked about with Office Lee Curtis. And yeah. So all these things make sense in this greater thing, because she just tried to do all these things and created so many branches that now she has so many unfinished hobbies that she just maybe started but never finished through and never specialized in anything, and all she ever did was doing this laundromat, I still don't know, it's fine. And yeah, this is the reason. It's like, this could be the reason why you were able to do all these things, because you're connected to so many branches. But then he has to leave because you're just gonna do whatever, just try to stay as far away from Jobu as possible, because he has to go back to his universe because they're getting attacked by Jobu there. And yeah, now we have normal Waymond. Joy is knocking on the door, which is actually Joy. Let her in. It's like, Joy, how did you get here? Asked Waymond. It's like, I don't fucking know. And Evelyn immediately grabs like tape and tapes Joy to a chair. It's like, Mom, are you having a stroke? And she's like trying to explain what's going on. And it's like, oh, like puppets, and you're doing the thing. And wait, where was I? Oh yeah, she's basically trying to explain what's happening. So you don't remember how you happened here because you were controlled by this thing, and it's like a puppet, and it's like this movie where the guy has someone in his head and is controlled, and she calls it Raccoon Cooey. And just, like Waymond and Joy start laughing. You mean Ratatouille? It's like, no, it's the one with the raccoon. It's like a puppet, that they just start laughing at her because they have no idea what's happening. Like, they just think she's insane. She's like fucking lost it. And then you hear the granddad waking up, and she thinks like the real one. And it's actually Alpha Dad. It's like, you need to kill this one. She gives her like a cutting knife, like a carpet knife, I think they're called, right? The one you like slid out of the thing. And it's like, you need to kill Joy. You need to kill her. This would give her one less universe she can destroy. And it's like, how can you even make this decision? This is insane. What are you doing? It's like, how do you think I feel about it? And then we see Evelyn slowly walking towards Joy, and Joy's looking and said, "Mom, what are you doing? What's going on?" And almost looks like she's actually following through with killing her, but she isn't actually. She's not. She just frees her. And then Alpha Dad gets out a gun, which I assume he got from one of the box cutter. That's the one. Thank you very much. And yeah, this is basically what we're doing. It's like holding them at gunpoint. All right, it's just like, oh, she's already under their spell. She doesn't want to kill Dribu. She's against us. And then Weber just looks panicked at him. He's like, I think it's time for a family discussion. This is really funny. That's like his response. I think it's time for a family discussion. And then Evelyn thinks like, oh man, I still have these things in my head. I still have the headsets. How about I just start doing random shit and hope for the best? That's basically her plan. Because she just starts doing random stuff. Like, she starts to dance. She starts to dance, then she does like other random stuff. She tries like 3 times, fails twice. Before getting the one that gives her, before she gets into her universe that gives her info she can use as her advantage. And on the third try, she gets into a universe where she's in this room as a maid, or like a house cleaner or a room cleaner, and someone gets out of behind where the granddad is right now, and there's like a button that opens it up, and someone comes out with like a bondage maid, and she just throws some money at her. Oh, could you please clean up in there? Thank you. And this is how she knows there's some. Oh yeah, and then she opens the thing. She knocks over the granddad, and they hide in there. Keep in mind, this is like all connections she has still open. She hasn't been trained to close these cracks, if you will, already. So I don't know if she realizes yet in what kind of danger she is, or if she realizes at all, because she just keeps doing it pretty much. So yeah, they hide in this little panic room almost, which has like all this bondage stuff in there. It's just kind of funny. And she explain what's going on to the other two a little bit, but the dad is still like, I'm still a bit lost. Like, I don't fucking know what's happening. But this leads Alpha Dad to basically create like a kill squad of verse jumpers into this universe, because we see like a lot of people we've seen throughout the movie on the sidelines, they all just get verse jumped into. And I just realized something. I don't actually know how they get these verse jump things in here. Are they implying that it's just random headset, just normal ass headsets they can use to verse jump around? Because I don't remember if they all look the same or if it's just random headsets. I didn't think about that, actually. I think it's just random headsets, because I think they look different. So apparently all headsets work. But what if headsets that don't have a green button? Well, I guess you can just use any, but it's interesting. I didn't think about that. Let me look here on this. Oh no, they all have the same one right here. The headsets are all the same. So yeah, so okay, that's kind of weird actually. So I don't know how that works. Because if you would have people from the same squads, like if they would be like in a team, because these are random people. Like one of them was jogging, one of them has like a suit on, one of them is a guard, and it looks like they all have the same headset. No, wait, they don't. I'm bullshitting. Oh no, one of them has a. Hang on, let me double check here. Yeah, one of them has a. Oh, okay. See, this is something I didn't even think about, even though I watched it twice already. So if you have a look-see here, she just has like a normal Bluetooth headset, I reckon, because she was jogging. She has like a like one of those headset you have like as a support worker, if that makes sense. She has like an over-ear one with a microphone. He's got like the standard phone one, it almost looks like. He has a completely different one. Okay, so it's just normal headsets then. Okay, no, that's fair enough. That yeah, I got you. Okay, nice. I'm glad we figured that out. Or I figured that out. Someone else, you guys probably figured that out before me. But I'm very stupid, so I didn't. Because I just thought about it and now I had to double check it. But that's it. We learn together here. We learn together. Righty. So. Oh shit, where did my notes go? No. Why does this happen every time? So yeah, Alpha Head launches this big offensive in order to kill Joy and even Evelyn if they need to prevent this ultimate chaos. They surround the safe room, and Alpha Dad tells them to find their jump pads. So you see them all kinds of crazy shit, like licking a pillar, singing Ave Maria, dancing with a telephone, and one guy is humping a lamp. But yeah, Evelyn just kind of looks at her at her hand, and I think she's starting to realize she can just access these things maybe a little better than everyone else. So she does like a random thing. I think she makes herself sneeze with one of the bondage items in there. And she gets skills that lead her to a singer, which is blind. So she gets like all these abilities. I don't do butt stuff with my body. I hope so too. So yeah. So I was a little bit confused here in the beginning because she was connected to the singer that gives her like better mobility and stuff like that. Wait, actually, I think I did this. I made a screenshot of that. Hang right on here. Or didn't I? Mirror, multiverse. No, pig. Okay, didn't screenshot the list. That's a shame. So basically, you see like a list of things she gets, and it's like heightened hearing, bigger lung capacity because she's a singer, no stage fright, and all that stuff. But she also is still pretty good at fighting. And this is where I started like to figure out, okay, she's still connected to all these things, and as soon as she reconnects, she gets all these abilities back. So these stack onto each other, which makes sense in at the end of all these fighting scenes, because their minds get fucked up. But yeah, I got confused there a little bit in the beginning, but I did figure it out at some point. So yeah, she fights all these guys outside. She dodges some stuff. She slides in some a pair of gas masks to the other ones because they threw like a tear gas grenade in there, I think was the idea. The idea. Right. So now, yeah, as I said, she's connected to multiple universe already, and then during the fight, she needs to connect again. So she does another random thing, and she finds like I think like a wooden frog or something, and she just swallows that one. Then she gets connected a uh, to a universe where she's one of those sign people that swing them around. And then she uses the tactical shield of the one guy to just beat them all up. So it just combines all these skill sets into each other, and she gets like super OP basically, as long as she's connected. Yeah. Next, she's getting attacked by the lady from the counter in the beginning of the movie, and she attacks her with the dog. Like she uses the dog like a like what are these things called? Like a morning star. Like when you have like this ball on the chain and just yeet it around. She uses the dog like that, and then she just goes grab a bottle, like a 2-liter bottle of orange soda, and she just downs it completely, and connects herself to a chef universe, where now she uses like stuff from the kitchen uh to cut off the dog's leash while she's throwing it, and the dog just flies across the room and just fucking bounces into a cubicle and goes like, "Arr!" But it's fine. You hear the dog is alive, so it's all good. So yeah, they do more fighting. Then the other one comes around with 2 pipe parts basically, and then they start to fight. And he breaks he breaks the kitchen utensils she's been using. Then he starts trying to punch her or slash at her with those two thingies, and she just kind of blocks it with a keyboard and does like more moves like a sign. And she gets one of his sticks, and they both hit each other's headpieces, so they both get disconnected and just kind of start flumpily fighting each other, just kind of slapping each other. And it's like, oh, we need to reconnect somehow. And the guy asks, "Sir, I need another connection point." And, well, you guys remember the butt plug trophies? Well, the guy needs to put the butt plug up his ass to get his next connection. So, yeah, now he tries to put this thing up his ass, and she prevents him from doing that by just moving that one around. And probably my favorite scene in the whole fucking movie. Oh, it's so good. So if you remember the bald security guard guy, he's a fucking hero because he thinks he's doing the right thing. So he was like, okay, this is my chance. The butt plug is just lying there, and he fucking yeets himself across the room, and you just see this guy spreading his cheeks, going across the room and landing right on top of the butt plug. What a fucking hero. Oh, it's so good. Just look at this. He just lands right on top of it and connects, and he gets like in this super fighting stance. And yeah, you see them fight, and you see this thing popping out his ass the whole fight. It's so funny. They have like this actual, very well choreographed fight, and this whole time you see like a thing sticking out of his ass. It's so funny. Also, can we just talk about this fucking guy? He's the one who's been slapped with dildoses in the beginning. Then you see this guy humping a lamp to get to his jump pad. And then, now you see him fucking jump on top of a butt plug like a fucking Chad. He doesn't give a fuck. Also, what a great fucking guy like in real life. It's like, oh, what do you need me to do in the movie? Oh, first you get beat up by someone with a fanny pack. Then you get beat up by dildoses. Then you have to do something random. I don't even know if you've got told to hump a lamp or if that was his own idea. Oh yeah, and then you jump onto a butt plug. It's gonna be great. And he's like, I got you, chief. I'm doing it. No problemo. So good. So yeah, they have this fucking fight. They have like a really cool looking fight with like really well choreographed shit. And when they kind of reset the fight, you see the other guy who was trying to put the butt plug up his ass come into frame. He stuck something else up his ass and is reconnected. So we have two people fighting Evelyn with things sticking out of their ass. And it's the funniest shit. Dude, that's like the kind of shit I find hilarious. Oh, it's so good because it's still a really well choreographed fight. And then you have just these guys having things stuck out of their ass. It's great stuff. It's great fucking stuff. So yeah, she gets kind of beat around, and then one of them goes like for a high jump attack with like a headbutt, and the other one does like a slidey thing, and we get this slow-mo where she grabs both the things up their ass and just rips them out in midair, disconnecting them, and basically winning that part of the fight. Fucking amazing. So good. I stopped there and laughed for like 5 minutes. It's hilarious. When we see this fucker jumping across the room onto the butt plug, and then right, that's when he finishes, and he gives you, he turns around right after, gives you this look, it's like, yeah, I just did that. And just connects. It's top notch. It's fucking awesome. It's so good. Love it. I fucking love that. Fucking great. Fucking. Oh, it's. Go away to watch this scene specifically. It's fantastic. It's so hilarious. Okay. So now that she defeated the two guys with things stuck up their ass, she's like reaching a point where she can barely handle the multiverses. Like they're all stuck in her brain. The connections are still there. She's like kind of breaking down here. But then she gets pinned by her daddy-o. And he's like, oh, we're going down together. Like he starts cooking a grenade, but then she snorts a fly off a thing that's like flying around. And then she gets swole pinky powers. Like she gets like muscly pinky fingers and just fucking rips the things that nail her to the wall apart and just kicks them away. The grenade flies away and she freed herself again. And then proceeds to fuck more people up with some pinky foo, which is really funny. Like she's like really, it just goes like with a pinky. It goes like yeets them up in the air and crashes them into the floor. I'm pretty sure at some point it makes like a Smash Bros sound where it goes like when you yeet someone across the arena, it makes like this distinct sound. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they used that one here. But yeah, fantastic fighting scenes, action scenes, whatever you want to call them. Really nicely choreographed, really fun. Good stuff. Obviously, nowhere near realism, but as I said, I think it gets pretty clear that we're not looking for realism in fights here. If they wouldn't have done the one thing with the gun where they do like this almost tropey enemies getting super close to people so they can disarm them, I probably wouldn't have any complaints about the fights at all. I think they're all pretty darn good. I couldn't really see anything that destroys things or doesn't make any sense in the context of the movie. So yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of all the fighting stuff. Definitely took advantage of the sci-fi elements here. But yeah. Anyway, Evelyn collapses because, as I said, she's like barely holding herself together with all the multiverses. Uh, ooh, but she's like on the verge of breaking. Then we see Alpha Wayman is reconnecting. He's like, "Oh, nice, he's alive." And it's like, "No, they got fucked up pretty badly. He's about to die." Basically tells her, "Oh, your reckless plan pissed everyone off, but it might work. Like this is probably the thing to do. Just keep it doing. I wish I could see it to the end, but she's like right here, and yeah, he gets killerinoed, and then Jobu comes to this universe again. She took over Joy here. Evelyn. Jobu's back here with Evelyn, and Evelyn prepares to fight. "Oh, I can take you on." But we see like this scene where you see like these mirrors breaking, and it's like all these different universes she's connected to right now, and didn't know how to close these cracks. And you just see her puke out this orange soda she downed early on, and she just collapses to the floor and basically dies. It's like, oh fuck, that's it, huh? Actually, let me see if I can get this. Oh, there it is. Oh, I clicked right on it. Nice. If that would work that easily every time. So yeah, we get this. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And basically everything is her mind is getting fried, basically. She collapses and dies. And Joy's like, "Oh, that's a shame. You were definitely much more interesting than before." And we get a fake out ending scene, but this is the universe where she has kung fu and does this whole she does the whole movie stuff. Yeah, she just goes outside and is looking for her daughter, and we see all these universes she was connected to, like everything's just happening, like they're falling over or get run over by a car even. Oh yeah, also apparently in one universe there's actually a raccoon cooey, as you can see right here. it's just another funny element of this. But yeah, so basically what we're trying to say here, she's now very much like Joy everywhere in the universe. Like we see the sausage universe where she, because she kind of gets the minds from everyone, and she's like, get away. Because in the sausage universe, she's apparently in a relationship with Office Lee Curtis. I call her Sausage Lee Curtis here, because I think that's just appropriate. And they were like about to have some sexy times with their sausage fingers. But she's like, "No, I don't want anything for you," and just see Sausage Lee Curtis this crumble in pain. And then we see her talk to the Waymond in the Kung Fu universe, and then she's like back in the universe where she apparently finished her taxes in time to bring back to the IRS. But yeah, she's just kind of jumping back and forth between all these things, and can't really control it. She's everywhere now. Oh man, I told it perfectly with the part 2 thing coming up. So yeah, she's everywhere now. She can't control it yet, and yeah, she goes downstairs to the laundromat, and we see Joy. It's like, "Oh, don't you do these tricks with me anymore." But yeah, I should probably mention it. I think it's pretty neat how they did it here, because we get to know that the original Jobu was like breaking apart by everything, and then died because she got connected to too many universes. And the same thing happens to Evelyn here. So What I do wonder though, I don't think we ever get like a proper I think the I hate when that happens. You start a thought and then you immediately think of something else. So the reason I think that we don't just have anyone else being able to do this kind of stuff between Evelyn and Joyce is that Joyce somehow was able to connect with all these universes by getting mind broken during the training, and the reason Evelyn can do it is because she has all these failed attempts of being of going through with those hobbies and everything. So, yeah, I think that's the reasoning. I think the problem is still if we go with all these multiverses, there should probably be a lot of Joyces and Evelyns going on. Actually, there should be a lot of people just being able to do this, because they don't explicitly say that the universes are limitless. They say it's possibly limitless, but there's a lot. So yeah, I guess we still have just the whole multiverse problem with all those branching paths. I think it's a little bit more if we go by the phones, I guess, because we see the phones here and there and see the connection and branches we get. There's not as many branches everywhere. So I think the idea here is that while being basically limitless, people have like not as many different branches going away from them, I think is the idea here. At least I think so. But yeah, interesting to think about, because they never really set any specific limitations as how the branches work. We only have the smartphones to go by, and we see like there's not as many branches from everyone. So maybe it's much more limited than what we know from, like, I don't know, a multiverse of madness or whatever, where it's like, actually there's unlimited universes, hooray. So I think this is a little bit limitless. I can't really prove that though, because I can only go from what we see on those phones. And I'm also, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I also don't know what, because I think we only see the branches from Evelyn here in some parts, and sometimes we see multiple branches. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's like this whole multiverse problem where you don't really know what the limitations are. I think it's a little bit limited here, but I guess there should still be like multiple things that could do the things they could do, I think. Unless they say this is actually just the only one that has as many branches as the other ones. Because I guess the idea is people have different amounts of branches. But then, and she has like Evelyn has more than the usual person, I guess, is the idea. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Yeah, I'll leave it there. It would be nice to have someone here to bounce off of in a call, but that's not happening today. I'm on my own, and that's fine. But yeah, that was my little mind flame going out there to everyone for you to listen to. So yeah, I bounced over these things. Yeah, Joy is, or Jobu is following Evelyn around, because Evelyn is just everywhere now as well, like Jobu is. So they talk to each other a little bit, and we change to those different universes where they have a conversation. They just go back and forth, but they basically switch to the same places. And we see Jobu being able to change stuff around. Like, she has like this sword going on that she changes at will and all that stuff. Yeah, Pretty neat. But yeah, they basically end up talking a bit, and she leads her to the bagel she built, and just to show the truth that she has been seeing. And that makes Evelyn spread through the multiverses thoroughly, in which is was pretty awesome to look at. No need to see. Is this where we get this crazy montage where she gets all these things? Oh yeah, she basically goes through these different scenes that we see, and she just basically lets loose. Just like, she gets called by the IRS lady, where she tells her to shut up, and she's not gonna bring in the tax papers. She signs the divorce papers. She tries to make out with the Waymond in the kung fu universe. We also see that the phone she got from Waymond in the universe we were in this whole time is reconnecting. So she's basically just back alive, while being surrounded by all these guards, like from all the Alphaverse people, and also later on there's the bagel people. I call them bagel people because it's funny. What else is she doing? Yeah, she's basically letting loose. She signs the divorce papers, as I said. And oh wait, there's this loop-de-loops hanging right on. Keep that thought. Going here and going there maybe. Yeah, that's fine. Righty. Boom. Just it was, yeah. Because she starts to realize, like Joyce, or like Jobu rather, that nothing matters. Like, she could just fucking let loose because nothing matters. Everything is just gonna end. Like, she doesn't get the paperwork to the IRS. She signs the divorce papers, as I said. She snitches the raccoon cooey guy because she just can, really. Just being mean. Yeah, she makes out with the handsome version of Waymond, as I put it in my notes. And then we get a crazy fast montage that basically goes through just faces of her in different universes, and it's fucking awesome. I really like that scene, how they made it. It's really cool. Oh yeah, in universe where she didn't bring the tax papers, the Office Lee Curtis brings in people to get stuff out of her, like to seize business and private stuff. Yeah, the raccoon is getting taken away. For some reason, she stabs the Waymond in her universe, which I don't really understand why that happened, to be honest. Maybe that's how she felt in here. That's the one scene I'm not entirely sure why it happened. Because just changing around for different universe things, and then she just stops at the one where she stabs him with a shard. That just kind of confused me, to be honest. And I haven't really been able to connect the dots with that one. But yeah, she's basically just letting loose. She swings her baseball bat at the things. She yells in the Singer universe and whatnot. So yeah, then we get this whole montage going on where we see like different faces, and I went for this frame by frame, and oh boy, there's some funny gold in there, and so there's some funny stuff in there, and there's also some terrifying stuff in there. Some what do you call it, like terror-inducing, if you will. So yeah, I think I got like 11 of those. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through them and just gonna show them to you because I think there were some really cool things in there. So why is that so? Oh, I took that screenshot on my big screen. No. Balls. Hang on. That's something I did not think about because I took the screenshots on my TV, which is a 4K one. There you go. So this is one of the universities. In one universe, she's a cat apparently. That just they had some fun with that one. That's for sure. Uh, then one is this, was just okay, terrifying. Thank you. And we got this one. It's just fucking fish people. And we got this one, an inmate. This looks interesting, kind of funny. One is just a statue. That's cool. Then we got a zombie. A scaly nun, because why not, right? Then we get I don't know, this, which just gives me nightmares. It's funny because this one looks like it's this looks like the HUD of a jet plane or something. Do you know what I mean? Like the thing that moves in the middle up and down, like the height you're at. What does it say on the rest? Slave, UFC, set? Yeah, I don't know. This one is just kind of creepy. I don't know. It's kind of unsettling. But we go from unsettling to funny because we got some berries with a face. And almost through. Got an alien. Gotta put an alien there with the pyramids in the background. Then I think this one might be my favorite. The next two are like just really funny. So this one is just a thumbnail. Illuminati symbols hidden in Hollywood films for one frame. I found them. Thank you very much. Truth Seeker 1214. 14 years ago. With her face in it. I found that one very amusing. And the last one I saw that I found really funny is this one. I love tennis. No, I think this one is my favorite. I forgot how funny that one looks. Just look at that fucking face. Oh, it's good stuff. Good stuff. I like they had some fun with those because I had fun discovering them. So yeah, there you go. I went through that frame by frame, so no, you don't have to. Very good, very fun. So yeah, after this we go like from crazy seizure-inducing frame-by-frame pictures to silence, and them just chilling here as rocks. There's no life forms there. It's just rocks. This is one of the universes where no life forms were created. There's just rock. And we see them talk to each other in rock form, visualized for us in text. And yeah, really cool. I really enjoyed that scene because we go from like absolute chaos to just peaceful. And yeah, they think it's peaceful. It's a universe where no life was formed, and Jobo tells her that she was hoping. Evelyn says like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry to fuck it up. I was stupid." And Jobo says, "Oh, it's fine. We're all stupid." And that's like the whole human thing. We're just all little stupid humans. We make these like back in the day, we thought everything was about us, and we tortured people who thought otherwise. Then we figured out we're going around the sun, which is just one sun in trillions, and who knows what the next big discovery is going to be, which will make us feel like even smaller pieces of shit. And then Rock Evelyn says language, and Jobo was like, "Really?" And I was like, it was a joke, a big fucking joke. So yeah, And who knows what the great new discovery is coming next to make us even smaller pieces of shit. Which, yeah, you know what? That's just as how it is. In the grand scheme, we're just all tiny pieces of shit. You know what? I can relate to that message. That's just how it is. But obviously, Jobu goes with it like, well then, fuck everything. Just fuck everything up. But also, Evelyn says, man, I was hoping you would see something I wouldn't see, to do it differently, to find a solution for this. And if there might be a different way. And then we change back to the bagel room. And Jobo goes on to explain that she didn't build the bagel to destroy everything. It was to destroy herself. To actually just to feel how it is. Just to actually just die. Because has been doing this for a long time. But at least now she won't be alone anymore. And they just kind of go towards the bagel. But Evelyn can still hear the husband. And she sees him fixing the damage that she has done in the universe where she did the taxes but didn't bring him in. He's talking to Office Lee Curtis. And he basically explained to Office Lee Curtis what's going on. There's like just this wars and the things. And he manages to give them another week to turn in the papers for a last meeting. And that's where she realizes, man, what am I doing? Like, there's like all this nice stuff in the universe that's going on. Or in all the universes, rather. And when she asks Waymond in this universe, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know. I just talked to her. Explained what our situation was. And basically she's like, even though she realized everything will inevitably end, there's still equally as much things to like. Because apparently in a lot of universes she has a loving husband, and there's good things to experience everywhere, and you should cherish those little moments. And then we cut like a little back and forth where we see her talk to Waymond in the different universes. And to Waymond in our universe that we've been in this whole movie tells that he has no idea what has been going on this whole day. But especially if we don't know what's going on, I only know that we should be kind to each other. And in the Waymond in the universe where Evelyn does kung fu, where she's trying to make out and where they're not a couple, this Waymond says, you might perceive me as he might be perceived as weak, and he always tries to see good in things, but this is his way of getting through life. It is strategic and necessary, and that's how he learned to survive through everything he's been through in his life. And this is the way he knows how to fight. Just being good, seeing the good things instead of always being negative. What a great fucking guy this guy is. Waymond is a fucking Chad. And then Evelyn touches his hand in the universe we've been in, and she sees all the universes that she is together with him, and sees how many nice things they always went through with each other, and just how nice it is to feel nice things. And yeah, as I said, she realizes that there's bad things, but there's at least equally high amount of good things to go through, even though everything seems to not matter. But yeah, that's where we're at. And Joe was like, oh, feeling good things. Let me save you some time, because even if you feel good things, everything is gonna end eventually. Because apparently she went through this, but she couldn't cope with the fact that the good things always ended. It's like, oh, there might be good things, but they're all gonna end, so fuck that. And then they do this finger spinny move that was like impossible to do for you as a child, because your little child brain couldn't understand what was going on with your fingers. And I'm talking about this right here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And they... So, I didn't mean to put that on screen. I love tennis. Oh, man. Okay, anyway. They teleport the bagel into this universe, which she can apparently do. I guess I just have to accept that. That's not a thing we see her do before, but I mean, she's like all powerful, I guess. So that's the thing she can do. Fine. But yeah, Evelyn gets attacked by the bagel followers, if you will, and Wayman's like, "No, Evelyn, no more." And she's like, "I don't want to hurt you." And then she starts to learn how to fight, like Wayman does. So she basically starts going around and makes people feel something again, because all these bagel people, they're like, "Ugh, I feel nothing." But yeah, we see her talk to obviously Curtis in the universe, like, "Oh, what did my silly husband say to you?" It's like, "Oh, he just explained the situation, and it reminded me of my divorce I went through, and my husband doing the I think he's just like driving a car through the neighbor's yard or whatever." And yeah, basically just telling her, "No, you're loved, it's fine." So it basically makes them feel something again, and that makes them stop fighting them. And just like all these different things. Because like, yeah, even in a silly universe where we have hot dog for fingers, you become really good with their feet. And yeah, what I found really funny is that because they use their feet, you see obviously Curtis have this brace on her left hand. In this universe, she has it on her left foot. This is a funny little touch that I really liked. Yeah. But yeah, she just basically makes her feel something. She uses her found feet powers now to kind of yeet away the people who are holding her down, and she grabs evil Curtis to give her a hug. It's like, "You're loved," basically. And he's like, "No, I don't feel nothing. I feel nothing." She's like, "Oh, I feel something." And then people starting to shoot at her, and she's like going in front of her, and it's like, no shooting bad. And she stops all the bullets in front of her, and then she turns them into googly eyes, which she hated before, but now she's like, "You know what, this little goofy thing, that's fine. I'm just gonna turn all the bullets into googly eyes," and she just repels them back to the guys, and just all sticking through. And it's like, this is stupid, says Alpha Dad. And yeah, she just like multiple enemies. She fights them off by getting them into a situation, make them realize there's something to feel, something good to feel. Makes two of them kiss, and show them in a universe where they're married. Telling the raccoon cooey guy to save his animal, and like in this universe, they just kind of run after the raccoon to save him. We see that guy who we saw earlier from the bondage room. He just gets bondaged and slapped on his ass, and he's like, "Oh yeah, feeling good." And yeah, one by one she defeats him by making them feel something nice again. Which is something they have sworn off of with Jobu in their leadership. And yeah, when she gets close to the other ones, she has a confrontation with Alpha Dad, who builds a mecha suit. Who somehow built a mecha suit out of the parts on his wheelchair, which is kind of funny. Came a little bit out of left field. Because sort of mentioned earlier, he apparently he built like all the stuff on his wheelchair so he can zoom around real quickly, and that was kind of fun. And now she basically has to face his own fears with the dad. It's like, I'm not you in the mirror. Yeah, continue after that, build mecha suit, as I said. And say, you need to let her go. I don't know how you could let me go back in the day so easily. I sworn I will never let that happen to my daughter what you did to me, so I will not let her go. Somewhere in between, some of the attempts fail to make them feel nicer, and Joe was like, see, it just ends at some point, but Evelyn just prevails through and just helps them anyways and makes them feel nice, and she just gives them all some nice feelings, and they all yeet it down. And Joyce is about to step through the bagel to finally destroy herself on her own, because apparently Evelyn doesn't want anymore. And Joyce even tells Evelyn, she's, oh, I'm happy for you that you figured your shit out, but I've been doing this for too long. I'm tired. And every time we're together in the universe, it just causes pain for each other. So it might be best for us if you just let me go. And Evelyn says like, okay, you can go. That's fine. I understand. But then before she actually lets her go, we go back to the car scene from the beginning, where I mentioned that ties into the end. Because Joyce is about to go into the car and leave. And yeah, when in this universe we get Evelyn talking to her dad in that universe, where she tells him, "Oh, this is Becky. This is Joyce's girlfriend." And it's like, ooh. So it's basically facing all her fears, getting her shit together, still trying to live in the shadow of her dad and just not be a little cuck, basically. And yeah, there's like so much cool imagery you should just check out. Like she, in the one universe with the rocks, she's just trying to follow her with googly eyes on their face now. And yeah, before she can, they even have like a little fight where they go back and forth, like, oh, I can't do this anymore, it's just all bullshit. And she keeps calling Evelyn, and it's like, stop calling me Evelyn, I am your mother. And they all try to hold her back to eat herself into bagel, but then she lets her go. But before she actually lets her go, she opens up back the car door and goes like, you know what? You actually have become pretty fat. You do need to eat more healthy. And you always call only when you need something. And even when we have plans, you're not showing up and whatever. But even then, I cannot imagine myself anywhere else but here right now when you're around. And yeah, they basically talk it out like this. It's like, you know what, we even though there's only these real small specks of things where everything seems to make a little bit of sense. Evelyn just says, yeah, and I will cherish these little specks of time because they're very important. And they hug it out. And Joyce says, man, this is really awkward. This is awkward, right? And Joyce says, oh, you still want to do this silly party? And Evelyn says, we can do whatever we want. Nothing matters. So yeah. We save the day and save Joyce. And we see a little thing where the universe becomes green again. We save the multiverse. And we have like a little ending scene where they go to the IRS again, all together, working together. And Evelyn actually embracing her husband. Everything is nice and chill now. Obviously, Curtis tells them that this looks better, this is way better, but still not perfect. And while obviously Curtis explains what it is that is not correct with all the receipts anymore, she's still hearing like voices throughout the universe because still connected to everything, obviously. But they decided to stay here for now. And then obviously because it's, oh, did you hear what I say? And before that, she was like, oh yeah, I was paying attention. This time she says, oh, sorry, what did you say? And this is where the movie ends. Very cool. Very, very cool. We all get the arc. We get arcs for everyone in this film. That's really neat. Evelyn goes from, I don't care what you do, your methods are kind of silly and dumb. I'm gonna do it my way. Please leave me alone. to in the end, oh, let's just actually work together, and realizing that her husband's ways actually help. Like they get he got them to have more time for the taxes, to correct everything just by talking things out, just being nice, having a positive mindset, because she was always the negative mindset. Need to be perfect, need to do this. But it's a simple lesson. I feel like it's a simple lesson to that was made across, but it's a good lesson. Don't be such a negative Nancy all the time, basically, and see the positives, and don't be afraid to get help from people, because in the end, she's just hanging out with the families and everything, and just helping other people feel good, realizing that the husband's ways might be not to her standard at the time, but actually makes sense. It actually helps in the long run. Just being nice, giving the IRS lady some cookies, just talking to her, not thinking like she's the worst person ever. Because when she talks to the IRS lady here at the end, she realizes, oh, it's just another person with some troubles that are not as far-fetched from my own. Because obviously Curtis says, oh, it's those hard-boiled bitches like us to get the thing going, right? And then this is where everyone's like, no, you're loved and everything. But yeah, really neat, really, really good movie. I really do like this movie a lot. It's good stuff. Highly recommended. Highly recommended to check it out. And yeah, give it a watch. I'm probably going to watch it again in the future because it's really good. Going to show it to people who haven't seen it yet. And yeah. Kind of wish I would have been on the EFAB for that. Oh, those unlovable bitches like us. Ah, okay, not hard-boiled. I had hard-boiled in mind. Okay, that's that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I wish I would have seen it earlier, but unfortunately I wasn't around on that weekend for the EFAB. So, yeah. There you go. Had to do it on my own. Explore it on my own. I'm sure Mutually and Co. found even more things, because that's like 5 people and not only one person. And they have even a better eye with stuff like this. And they probably noticed more things than I did. I can imagine. Yeah. Really cool imagery. They got really creative with the multiverse stuff. I think the rules are pretty easily understandable. I feel like obviously we still have a bit of this multiverse-tism, but fortunately for the movie, they set up some rules that make us understand how the powers work, which is very important. Yeah, good stuff. Very good. Wholeheartedly recommend this movie, Heimers. It's very nice. But yeah, there you go. Let me have a look-see. If you all got some questiones, go right ahead and throw them in there before I get the hell out of here. Probably wasn't the best night to stream this, considering there's a Mutually and a Drinker stream, so hopefully people watch this after and give me some feedback if everything was alright, because I enjoyed talking about this movie, and I think it would have benefited from someone else being around, but apparently the other ones weren't available. I threw it in the Discord, but they were like, nah, or I'm not around. Mostly not around. But yeah, I think would have been benefited. That would have made it better. I think it's always better when there's someone else to bounce off of. Just makes for better conversations. But I think that's just a given. But obviously, you have to do these alone once in a while. Have to get the motor going here and there. My head brain motor. Yeah. Right. So the next thingy is already set up. the next episode, I'll be. Did you know that Wayman was Data from the Goonies? I didn't tell today. See, I haven't even seen Goonies, so unfortunately it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't even know if Goonies are that popular in Germany. I think that's a very popular thing in America, though, right? Because I've heard that name a lot, but I've never watched that. You can throw stones at me if you want to. Favorite fight scene? The one that has the butt plug stuff in it. That fucking shit is hilarious and very well choreographed. Like this whole the whole section from beginning to end until she basically dies. That's probably my favorite one. It's really entertaining. But yeah, next Metal's Forge will be June 8th, around 8 p.m.-ish, I imagine. Which is Wednesday? That is Wednesday. And I'll be joined by Az. And we will be talking about Dread 2012. So there's your homework. I've seen Dread 2012 before. It's a really fun movie, so I'm looking forward to that conversation. Just talking about the movie. That is a fun-tism. That should be a good time. That should be definitely a good time. So yeah, go give that one a watch, Roonies. Right. Oh man, I just realized something. That's for me to figure out. Anyway. Let me have a look-see at them super chatteroonies, and then I'm out of here. I lost the tab that has that in there. Didn't I open? I didn't? Apparently I didn't. 1 second. Click. And boom. There we go. Stupid Mola streaming at the same time as you, waiting for drinking to start in like 3 hours. I know, right? I think it was very, very rude. Very, very rude. Take my money, Mootle. Take it real good. Bye, Byron. Goodbye. I know you're still here. And I saw you came back. But yeah. Goodbye. And Metal. Tell Rags to tell Fringy to tell Drinker to tell Mauler to watch Top Gun Maverick. Okay. I'll try. But yeah. No, because I realized, no, wait. Never mind. That's for my own brain to figure out. But yeah, thank you for the super chats. I very much appreciate that. And also appreciate everyone hanging around, even though this was a busy Sunday night that I didn't expect. Normally Sunday nights are not littered with streams from my other homies, but apparently that happened today. So there you go. That's stuff that happened. So yeah, I guess I'll see you all on Wednesday unless something comes up. And let's see, what time is it now? So I'm off work tomorrow, so I might go live with a cheeky stream on the YouTube channel, on the archive channel here in a little bit. Because I kind of want to have some shenanigans going. I want to just fuck around with Diablo Immortal, because that seems to be a joke of a game. And there's a desktop version, so I might gonna grab some Dranklages and just play that a bit and shit on that. Because that's probably gonna be bad. Just gonna see if how long it takes until the game tells me to buy stuff. But yeah, you will see if that happened or not. I'm definitely gonna take a break for a little bit. And yeah. There we go. That's it. That's everywhere, everything all at once. Everything everywhere all at once. That's how it goes. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you all in the next one, which should be on Wednesday. And yeah. Have a good night. And I may be back with another stream somewhere else. Catch you around. Goodbye.